Secretary of State Mike Pompeo heads to North Korea today. Joining us now, General Jack Keane. All right, obviously now, General, the pressure's on the Trump administration. I'm reading that they're going to pull back from this sort of all-or-nothing approach and sort of, I don't know, be more accommodative, if you will, with North Korea. Is that the right way to go?
I think we're on a showdown course with them now because by now we certainly have asked them for the location of all their nuclear sites and all their ballistic missile sites to include their research and test facilities. And I'm making the assumption that they haven't been forthcoming with all of that, and we haven't been able to verify it. So we haven't got over the first major hurdle, which is kind of step one in the denuclearization process, which is identify everything that you have. And I think that's what this trip is all about. I think Secretary Pompeo is going to talk to Kim Jong-un in very clear, unequivocal terms that we need to have your identification and location and a plan to denuclearize, and we need to see the specifics of it. If he doesn't get that, I'm sure he'll come back and tell the president, and we've got to go to Plan B and go back to maximum pressure again, and also military preparedness for the possibility of a military option.
These satellite images that were revealed here recently showing North Korea reconstituting their nuclear capabilities, at least at one site. Certainly, I don't think the administration, they had to be caught flat-footed by that.
Well, first of all, I mean, they're reporting to the president on a daily basis what's happening in North Korea, and he has a lot more information than what's been reported in the media, and that is unfortunate that we've got, you know, intelligence service agency giving that information to the media. I mean, that is a problem that we seem to have persistently, and it's so dead wrong. Yeah. So the president's got a portfolio of information, Charles, that goes way beyond that. And I don't know what's happening with that construction. That may have been something that had been in the plan for some time prior, you know, to the Singapore summit. Don't know at all. But the fact is, we need to get the plan and the specifics for the denuclearization program if there's going to be one. And that's what I believe this trip is all about by Secretary Pompeo.
Next one for you, General. President Trump reportedly asked his advisors about invading Venezuela last year. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, I don't think presidents should really be held accountable for all of the what-ifs that they may bring up in the confines of their office with their staff. I mean, that would be unfathomable. And I think that's all this was. It's just sort of a what-if and a thinking out loud sort of thing, which, you know, what I understand, H.R. McMaster, his national security advisor, was able to provide him with a coherent answer that the president seemed to accept. You know,
although, General, I mean, you know, listen, 1.5 million refugees, they're on the verge of being a refugee crisis bigger than Syria. And then whenever this happens, everyone says America should have, you know, open borders, and maybe you'll start to hear we should start to somehow, you know, accommodate these folks. Certainly a potential civil war right in this hemisphere. So the White House has got to be anxious about what's going on down there.
Well, that's not to say that they're not. I mean, we are exercising sanctions. We are working with our allies in the region. And I think Venezuela's neighbors certainly have got to bear some of this burden before the United States would bear this burden, it seems to me. Yeah. And I think that those countries there certainly recognize that there is a major issue here that's going to have major spillover to them, and they're already experiencing that. The number of people that are fleeing that country is pretty significant, and it's going to continue to increase.
General Jack Keane, always appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good talking to you, Charles.